Hi friends, welcome to Vaibhava English Academy. Today I am here with some pro tips to ace in assistant professor in English interview. I am a person who has experienced more than a dozen interviews in the past 5 years. I have appeared for permanent post, temporary post and also as guest lecturer in various universities. I would like to share my experience of what I have understood and what I have learned from each of the interview. So without any further ado, let's quickly get into the tips that would help you to ace in the interviews of assistant professor in English particularly. So first, at the venue, what you have to do. You have to reach the venue before the scheduled time, and if you are not familiar with that place, you must visit the place beforehand. And you must carry water bottles with you or some juice with you so that you remain hydrated and calm. You do not know that how much time an interview can take. It might be from a duration of 1 hour to might be one day. So you have to carry refreshments so that when you enter the interview hall or when you enter the meeting room, the boardroom, you are in your fittest energy and you are presenting your best. In order to do that, you have to remain hydrated and you have to carry refreshments. And also, always remember, always cross check if you have taken your call letter and your certificates. Okay, so in some interviews, they give you call letter, and only after you show the call letter to them, your name will be registered in the interview list. Coming to the next point, coming to certificate verification. The very first process after you reach the venue, after you have settled down, would be to fill a form. In that, the particular university or the particular college would be asking you information about yourself and why you are interested in that particular interview. And also, along with that form, you are required to submit your certificates, the xerox of your certificate, so that they can later on verify, and also they can submit it for NAC accreditation and all. Also, you must remember that you have to carry your original certificates. That also, it will be very convenient if you have arranged them in proper order, so that you can avoid delay, you can avoid confusion and also tension. You need not get tense. You have to carry a big file. In that, if you are placed it in one order, like you can take it from 10th 12th degree, post graduation, MPhil, PhD, experience and paper publication. Either you can go in this order. You, yes, of course, not to mention not to forget UGC net, also JRF if you have, or you can do it in the descending order, like first PhD, then MPhil, UGC net with JRF, then comes post graduation, UG certificate, 12th and 10th. Any order would do, and also you must keep copies of your publications. If you have done it in books or journals, try to take a printout and keep it so that they would access it according to the impact factor of the journals. Okay, in some interviews you are required to carry your passport size photos. It is always advisable to carry your photographs in your original certificate file. Okay, and yes, as I mentioned before, you have to arrange your certificates in any particular order. Also, yes, remember to take xerox of your paper presentations and publications. You have to do it prior to avoid confusion, because the place where you might be going for interview might be new to you. You might not know where to find xerox shops. You might not know where to go, where to come back. So, in order to avoid all these hassle, you can do it in prior. We all know early bird is always welcome, right? Coming to the next point. Coming to publications. Now you might be confused. What sort of publications carry higher marks? Please remember to check the authenticity of the journals before submitting your papers. Usually, in many colleges in India, prefer uh, the papers published in UGC care list. Okay, UGC care list. So for each discipline, there is A, B, C, that categorization. UGC, if you go to UGC care list website, you can find n number of journals that are listed over there, and the list keeps on changing. So before giving your paper for any journals, please check if their name finds place in the UGC list of that particular year. Sometimes what happens, the list changes, and the novels, the journals might be there in the previous years, but it might not be there in the present years. That might create a problem. Therefore, before submitting your papers, please check that you are giving it to journals which are UGC care listed. Okay, and the second criteria of journals is the journal should be peer reviewed journals. If it is international peer reviewed journals, then it is well and good. Otherwise, it should be at least peer reviewed journals, and it should have a very good impact factor, and also the Scopus index and all. Okay, there are so many indexes, so it must be indexed, it must have high impact factor, and it must be peer reviewed. If possible, it should be UGC care listed. Okay, and whatever papers, whatever publications or paper presentations you are submitting for the interview, you must be well aware of the content, because questions can be asked from uh, that particular journals, or that particular theory or aspect that you have used in those particular paper presentations and also publications. Moving on, now coming to the marking scheme. You see, there are many interviews where the freshers do not know why their application got rejected, or they feel as if they had performed very well in interview, but then why they are not scoring the marks. So for each, whenever, be it a temporary post, be it permanent post, or be it a guest lecturer post, each university allots a certain marks. So I have mentioned these marks in a general category. It may differ from one university to other. Okay. For MA, that also above 70%. If you have marks, then you might be awarded 10 marks. If you do not have that much, then marks would be reduced accordingly. And it is always important to have UGC net. If you have a UGC net, you might be awarded around 8 marks. If you have UGC net with JRF, you would be awarded full marks, that is 10 marks. Okay, and MPhil carries 5 marks, PhD carries 10 marks, and peer reviewed publication maximum up to 5. Each paper carries 2 marks, 5 into 2, 10 marks. Okay, so maximum, they would consider maximum of 5 papers, that's it. Even if you have 15 papers, even if you have 20 papers, that would not come into account. They would take care of only 5 publications. Okay, and experience has 10 marks. Here each year carries 2 marks, so maximum of 5 years would be considered for your candidature. So 5 into 2, 10 marks. Then another 10 marks would be allotted for any awards if you have got, or some government projects that you have done. For example, there are people with PDF, postdoctoral fellowship, and also there are people who have did some projects initiated by UGC or by governments, state governments, and also central governments. Such people would be given priority, and they would be getting another 10 marks. Okay, and rough estimate of interview, the question answer session that takes place carries 35 marks. Even if these marks are reduced into half, interviews might carry 25 marks, and the above mentioned things would be changed accordingly. But one thing is for sure, that if you are going for any interview, all these factors, MA marks, UGC net with JRF, MPhil, PhD, peer reviewed publications, your experience, and also the awards you have got, and your performance at the interview will definitely be the criteria to select you as a candidate. Okay, moving to the next. Moving to the interview process as such. As we have seen, we have come to the venue, we have filled the form, we have attached the Xeroxes, we have given it to them, affixed photos and all, given it to them, and the certificate verification with originals has taken place. those people have allotted the marks except interview marks, and you are called into the boardroom where the interview is taking place. Okay, so the first thing after the panel makes you comfortable, the panel might ask you to come and take a place, and the first thing they would like to know would be your self introduction. In some interviews, even this procedure varies from one interview to another. See, each people have different experience. Since I told you, I have numerous experiences of interviews from different states, so I am telling you from my experience that some prefer to watch teaching demonstration. How do you handle class? What are the points that you are saying? Do you have that connectivity, that coherence, that flow, command over language, command over children? Do you have that? That is tested in teaching demonstration. So usually in that particular type of interview, first your self introduction might be asked, then they ask you to take a class or take a demo of how you teach, and from whatever you have taught, questions might be asked. That is one form of procedure. Moving to the next, there are certain other interviews in which you are asked to introduce yourself, and they ask random questions from literature, linguistics, and also criticism. So they might ask questions from anywhere and everywhere. There, your previous knowledge or whatever you have read would come to your rescue. Okay, and coming to interview panel, if you are going for a temporary post, then you can find principal, vice principal, and HOD in the room. And if you're going for a permanent post, or if you're going for a guest lecturer post, you can find a panel of more than 5 members. The panel might consist of 5 to 10 members. Okay, the trustees and all, whoever is interested, and also there will be a subject expert, one subject expert or more than one subject expert. You can find those people, and you would be their center of attraction, and you have to in these two processes, sometimes these two processes are intermingled, and that is asked. For example, you would be asked to give your self introduction, then they might ask you to take demo class, and after you have taken, they might ask random questions. Anything can happen. Okay, that depends on your luck. Moving to the next. Now, let us look at the most probable interview questions. If you are, if we have an idea of what to expect, then the test becomes easier, right? So, first of all, prepare self introduction. You have to highlight your strengths, uh, mention about your PhD thesis, mention about your MPhil thesis, mention about your MA project, mention your experience in attaining UGC NET and JRF, whatever you have your strength and your passion for teaching. You must highlight your passion for teaching, why you have taken this course, and what you have done so far, and your experience. If you have experimented with any innovative technique of teaching, you can mention that. So your self introduction, they would access you, assess you. Okay, they will have an understanding of what you are and how much passionate you are about your subject. Okay, and how much knowledgeable you are. So prepare your self introduction in such a manner that the panel is impressed at the very first point. There is yet another trick, if I'll tell you. If you're talking about your research topic, then mostly questions would follow from the research topic of which you are a master. Therefore, if you have done your PhD or MPhil, then try to speak about your research. Then automatically the panel would be interested to know more about what you have researched, what you have found out, and you would find it very easier to talk to them about a subject in which you yourself are an expert. Okay, so what was your research topic, that might be asked. Coming to the third question, why did you select particular research topic, why did you select particular field, and the particular techniques that you have used, any particular reason for selecting all these, that you might be asked. Okay, and a very famous question is, why did you choose teaching? That is a very famous and recurrent question. This has been asked from ages to ages. Yes, and there might be miscellaneous questions from literature, linguistics, and teaching methodology. Okay, you must also prepare, you must be well prepared with who is your favorite author. Okay, The question might change from favorite poet, favorite essayist, favorite dramatist, favorite playwright, favorite novelist, and so on. So anything can be asked. Please prepare. Just you have to think yourself, and you have to uh, keep a person in mind. For example, if you have to prepare a list, okay, if some particular poet is asked, whom you should, you know, you should already prepare an answer in your mind. Okay, and questions from criticism, critical theory, and literary terms are obvious. So they would definitely ask one or two literary jargons. So you must be prepared for that. And some examples of topics from linguistics include phonetics. There is some panel may ask about the three-dimensional form of origin of word, sound, diphthongs, and all. Okay, and some of the favorite topics of interviewers are Noam Chomsky's terms and particular school of behaviorism, cognitivism, etc. So you must be well aware with this particular aspect of linguistics. Okay, and in some interviews what they do is they tell you if the students are freshers, how would you handle them? If the students are from science stream, how will you handle them? Such questions. If you deal with a particular class and a particular topic, how would you deal it with them, and what would be their reaction? How would you, stimulate the class so that the class comes into the patient listening and understanding? So that particular some sort of that teaching methods, methodologies would be asked. Like they would also ask if you are comfortable with the traditional form of teaching or online form of teaching, or a gaming form of teaching, which is the advanced, which is the future of teaching, you see. So you must be prepared for all of these. Now, so we have known what to prepare and how to, you have we have talked about the venue, about the things you have to take, what happens inside the boardroom. So before entering the interview, well before 1 week or whatever, whenever this interview is announced, you should prepare in advance. So you have to prepare a good self-introduction highlighting your strengths. And you have to read about prominent authors from all periods of literary history, like from medieval ages, from romantic age, from Victorian age, from modern age, from contemporary age, and from other Englishes like Australian literature, American literature, African literature. So from the prominent ages, please select prominent writers and read about them. At least you must know something about them in general. See, because if a person has completed his MA and he is focused on research, then there are many chances that people get forgetting, right? So in order to avoid that lapse, it is always better to read. As I had previously mentioned, you should already prepare a few points about your favorite authors and prepare notes about their prominent work and how their works were received, and if any important concepts they had figured. For example, if we take Yeats, he had concepts related to his poetry, like he speaks about Gaius, he speaks about lunar cycle and all through his poems. So if a person, if you are talking about Keats, okay, you have to talk about the critical notes relating to Keats as well. Okay, so while you prepare notes, please follow that you are preparing both their poetic or literary output and also their critical output. Okay, now, yes, as I had previously mentioned, you must have idea about your publication and research thesis. And you must always be ready with a topic to take class. You must expect, whenever you're going for an interview, expect to take a class. Okay, so you must be well prepared with one particular topic in which you can speak very confidently and you have mastery of the over that subject. Even after your class, if somebody is asking you questions, you must be in a position to answer. Okay, and the very important and most important aspect of attending any interview is you have to train your mind to be calm and composed during strenuous interview process. Interview process is not going to be easy. There might be many candidates waiting to be interviewed, and they also want to get selected. They might have better qualifications than you, but then interview plays a prominent role. If you are performing very well here, there is a chance that you might be getting the job irrespective of others who have more qualifications. Okay, so you have to train your mind to be calm and composed so that you can listen to what the interview panel is asking, what the interview panel is looking for the particular candidature. Okay, coming to the last slide of this presentation. Yes, so this is the ultimate. You see, if you have these qualities, you are definitely going to perform really well in the interview process. That is, you have to be confident. You have to be confident in whatever you have learned, in all the struggles that you have undergone and overcome and became strong, of what your life has taught you, of of how much your parents and your family supports you. You must be confident about all those. You must be confident about the subject knowledge that you have, the passion for teaching that you have. Okay, you have to believe in yourself. No self doubt. There is no room for self doubt. You must not ask, am I eligible for this post? No, you must be fully confident. You must be telling yourself, yes, I am the best candidate for this particular interview. And always believe, if you work hard, you are sure to succeed. The success might be taking a little time, but then always believe that if you have worked hard, you are surely going to success. Okay, you are going to succeed in any one part of life, and you might be lecturing others about the hurdles you overcame and achieved success. Okay, and give your best. You must be in your best form, and in order to give your best, you must be hydrated, you must be refreshed, and when you meet the panel, you must expose them to the vibrancy that you have, to the excellent knowledge that you have, and to the tremendous personality that you are. Thank you so much, viewers. Thank you so much.